Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why would you want to be the mayor of New York?
We are at a point where we have to make progress. Mamdani is a socialist, the child of wealth, never had to work, never managed anyone. If Mamdani is elected mayor, Trump will take over New York.
So why is Mamdani currently leading the polls?
He has appealed with very simplistic solutions that would never work. Fast, free buses. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Everyone wants a fast bus. What do you want, a slow bus? Fast.
To curb the rat problem, which is worse than it's ever been before. New York is obviously bad.
More rats than people?
Yeah,
they're
dude,
disgusting.
They're not scared.
They're not scared. They have that New York attitude. They like that.
What is your order in a deli or a bagel shop?
Being reckless, cream cheese and lox.
Reckless?
That cream cheese is like 9 million calories.
Yeah,
When they give you that New York City schmear that they...
Have you had a good relationship with President Trump?
No, he puts his finger right in your chest. The only way to deal with him, put your finger back in his chest. And that's why we had the fights we had.
I want to ask you about your brother.
Yeah, we've had a crazy life, ups and downs. And plus, I can kick his ass on any given day, which...
Yeah, this is great. Dude, this is
Very non-conventional setting for Governor Cuomo to start with.
yeah.
What do you think about? What do you think so far?
Presidential suite. I thought there'd be a gubernatorial suite, but
Yeah.
No, we got
it's
the
very
top tier.
very cool.
Yeah.
I guess we're rolling. Is that true? Yeah. Yeah? Just Mr. Cuomo, I just want to get this right, I want to get it right. I think you're a very important person, very special guest. Thank you for joining us today. It's an honor. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Man, how you feeling?
Well, I'm in the ring, right?
Yeah.
Political ring, but it's like a boxing ring, wrestling ring. We're getting down to it. We have about 10 days to what they call early voting. In New York, we have a period of early voting. November 4th is the election. So on one hand, you feel relieved that you're coming down to the end, right? Because it's a long process. On the other hand, as you know, the anxiety goes up, the tension goes up, the attention goes up. And that's where we are now. I have a debate tomorrow. These 2 debates left. The debates are very important. People tend to start to focus the last couple of weeks, right? They watch the campaign with one eye as it drones on, but last couple of weeks they start to focus. So this is an important period now. And it's just a 24/7 period, right? You're just out there touching as many people as you can, as often as you can.
Doing podcasts with YouTubers.
Yes, sir.
I think we should set up a little bit of context here as well. Like this New York City mayoral race is highly contentious, highly talked about between you and Zohran. I'm going to mess this up so many times. Say Mamdani, and going into this election. I think where are we at from at least a speculated polls standpoint right now?
You have 3 people in the race, so
Yep.
you're splitting the vote. Mamdani is the lead. I'm second. There's a Republican candidate who's third. If on a 3-person race, Mamdani has the benefit. If the Republican drops out of the race or his vote is compressed, he gets a fairly minimal vote because people don't see him as a viable candidate, then we're looking at a head-to-head race.
And we did also just have Mayor Adams drop out, correct? Which based on a potential endorsement in a direction would also influence polling as well, correct?
That would also make a difference. But you're right. Mayor Adams dropped out because he didn't want to be a spoiler in the race. This race is different, as you said, because, elections are normally between 2 people, Jack and Jill. Who do you like better, Democrat or Republican even? This is but a question of philosophies, right? I am a Democrat. My father was a Democrat. I worked for Bill Clinton. I'm a lifelong Democrat. Mamdani is a socialist. They call themselves democratic socialists, but he's a socialist. And there's a National Socialist Organization, and he's a member of that. There's a statewide socialist organization. So it's a question of, are we a capitalist country, capitalist city, or a socialist city. And that is night and day, that difference.
Can you break that down, what that difference is for our audience who may not actually know the nuances of what that means?
Yeah. If you, by their policy, they are heavily influenced that the state should control and basically equalize assets among people in society. So government should control the means of production, all right? Not private sector companies. They're against private ownership of land. Government owns all the land and allocates land for housing, which is the exact opposite of America, right? American dream, I want to own my own home, my own backyard. No, government would own all the land. Very high taxes on the rich as a way to equalize income distribution, to try to get income equality by using the tax code. Government provides basic services to everyone, regardless of income. Government provides transportation. Government provides childcare. Government runs food stores. So it's a government-driven society as opposed to a private sector, entrepreneurial, capitalist society.
What is the benefit of having a private sector society as opposed to a state-driven society?
Private sector society is capitalist society says government provides certain benefits to all, public education systems to all. Government will help you if you're really poor and you're really sick because we have compassion as a society. But your success is dependent on what you do. And we don't cap your success, you know? If you work really hard and you're really talented and you do really well, God bless you. There's no limit. We're not going to limit your success. That's the basic rule of capitalism.
So why is Mamdani currently leading the polls?
He does very well. Well, right now he's the Democratic nominee because he calls himself a Democratic socialist. He ran in the Democratic primary. He won in the Democratic primary. In this city, if you're the Democrat, you automatically get X percent of the vote because it's a 70% Democratic city by enrollment. And there are people who, if you're a Democrat, you just vote Democrat. You're a Republican, you just vote
lifelong
Republican.
blue voters.
Yeah.
And I think I'll be a devil's advocate on a lot of things today. I think one of the reasons why Mamdani is having the success he is, and you explain the difference between socialism and capitalism, but truthfully, the capitalistic approach in New York City lately has not been working. At least in the way the system has been set up. Rent prices are out of control. There's a lot of factors and a lot of things that are pushing people into the concept of looking in a new direction and whatever that direction is. And so, like when you look at the policies in this mayoral race, I hate that freaking word. Rent control, Rikers, you know, there's a couple mainstay topics. Where do you differentiate on a policy like rent control? I know you wanted to freeze some of the stabilizations. Where does your policy differ from his?
Yeah. Without getting into the weeds, first, you're exactly right. But it's not a New York phenomenon. It's a national phenomenon.
Correct. Yep.
By the way, it's the phenomenon that Donald Trump touched, right? You have a middle class in this country that feels trapped. You have a young generation that feels trapped, right? That they can't find a way to break through. They can't find a way to make it. I was told to go to college. I go to college. I have college debt. The job I get doesn't even cover the college debt. I don't see how I'm ever going to get to where my parents were.
The rat race.
Right. And that alienates a whole sector of society. And you have that in New York also. They call it the affordability crisis. Yep. If you are middle class, it is very, very hard to live in this city. Rents, number one.
Who could that be? It's a hotel room, private hotel room.
But everything is expensive, right? Restaurants are expensive. Food is expensive. Transportation is expensive. Everything is expensive. And you're feeling pressure. And he has appealed to that need, to that feeling, with what I consider very simplistic solutions that would never work, but at least he's talking to them. He also was very good on social media.
He's very good on social media.
Yes.
He's basically a content creator.
Well, he's younger. He speaks very well. He's a likable enough guy. How old is he? 33?
33 years old.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, his mother is a noted film director.
Yeah.
He was a rapper, artist, and he had very good social media presence. Captured the imagination. He was great on TikTok. Connected with the younger generation. He's only 33, generational shift, fresh face, blah, blah, blah. And that shtick, if you will, you're in New York, that's a New York expression, shtick. That shtick works in politics, right? And especially nowadays, a lot of people don't get into the substance. They don't want it, it's too technical. Who has the time, right? Nobody reads anything more than a tweet. So he has great slogans. Freeze the rent. Freeze the rent. Yeah, I'm in favor of that.
Yep.
He's going to freeze my rent. Yeah. Now, if you read the details, you find out that he's not really talking about you and your apartment. He's only talking about a sliver of the market. But freeze the rent sounds good. Fast free buses. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Fast free buses. Everyone wants a fast bus. What do you want, a slow bus? Fast free buses. Yeah, that's good. I'm down for that,
Childcare.
Free childcare. Grocery-run store. Government runs grocery stores.
That's the craziest one. To
That
me,
is
that's the wildest one.
Yeah, that is the craziest one. Well, the concept is crazy on that one because it's that government is now going to go into the grocery store business and somehow they're going to be so efficient and effective in the grocery store business, the prices are going to be lower than private stores, which, government can't figure out how to fill a pothole. Now they're going to go into the grocery store business? Like, give me a break.
I've been on I-95 during construction. I know what gets done and what doesn't.
So, but it sounds like something, right? It sounds like it's an idea, something different. I want something different, and that sounds different. So you don't even get into smart or not smart or real or not real.
It's just cool conversation. The difference that I think of immediately when I think of the mayor versus the politicians that we talk about more often, which is at a government level, and they are these talking heads, these personalities, these characters that people buy into. The difference in New York City is the mayor of New York City has to govern. You actually have to get out there and you have to govern this city. People don't want to be stabbed. They don't want to walk on rats. They want to feel safe in the city. He's a very likable 33-year-old guy with zero experience.
Yeah.
With no experience to actually govern. And this isn't I don't live here. I live in Los Angeles. I have no reason. He lives in Puerto Rico, right? So this is just, I am watching this race. I'm intrigued by it. But how much does the fact that he does not have the experience affect his ability to govern this city?
Yeah. Well, it would be determinative, but you are exactly right. So he's good on TikTok, attractive, et cetera. If you're choosing a legislator, frankly, you're voting for a state assembly person, senator, you're voting for a congressperson. Legislators, they articulate, they argue, they vote on the bill, they don't vote on the bill. Mayor, governor, these are different jobs. This is a different skill set. You're talking wrestler versus boxer. An executive, you have to run stuff. You are a manager. You're accountable. It's not rhetorical. It's reality. Any given morning, you can wake up and there's a mass shooting. Any given morning, there's a hurricane, there's a flood, there's a fire. God forbid another terrorist attack. God forbid COVID. And you have to know what the hell you're doing. It's 300,000 people. It's a $115 billion budget. 33-year-old never managed more than 5 people, never had a real job. Just think about it. And it's life and death, because if you don't know what you're doing or you make the wrong call, people die, right? And New York City is a national target and an international target, right? So it even compounds the mayor's job in New York City. And this is a complicated, dense, conflict-oriented place. So knowing what the hell you're doing actually matters. It's not normally in the political discourse, but it should be the first question, right? You go for any job application, the first thing they say is, what's your experience? What are your qualifications? Not in government.
Hey, quick shout out to the Four Seasons. They gave us this place, very kind of them, but also shout out to the world's #1 sports fan festival, Fanatics Fest, and it's making its return to New York City. Oh boy, I love the Fanatics Fest. Fanatics is bringing you closer to the leagues, teams, WWE superstars, me, and athletes you love across 4 action-packed days in July. Meet your favorite athletes. That's going to be a fun thing. WWE superstars, get your hands on exclusive merch, catch live podcasts, interact with the biggest name in sports. Tickets go on sale this November, so mark your calendars and don't miss out. Full information at fanaticsfest.com. Back to the show. If he has the grit and determination and just that sheer self-belief and has some of the qualities that could make him a good mayor, is this something where he could learn on the job?
No. It's like saying, step into the ring with Mike Tyson when he was in his prime, and you've never boxed before, but you'll figure it out along the way.
Okay.
And no, you won't figure it out along the way. You'll never get out of the first round, right? There is no on-the-job training.
So it sounds like you certainly seem like the safer candidate. Perhaps I'll use that word if you're comfortable with it. It's the safer candidate, but I feel like people are kind of at this point in history willing to take
risk.
that high risk, high reward type gamble. Do you think that's what's happening?
There is a sector that is this election. You're exactly right. That's the tension. There is a sector of society that says, I don't care. It can't be worse. It can't be worse, right?
Yeah.
There's no shot on the pool table. Just hit the rack and see whatever the hell happens. It can't be worse. He sounds like he's going to make dramatic change. Let me try it. That's option A. Option B is, hold on a second. This is New York City. I think you have to know what you're doing. There's a level of experience that you need. There's a level of qualification. And that's too risky for me. And that's the A and the B.
I wonder where people land, man, because I feel like right now, people are closing their eyes and shooting the rack at this moment in history.
You kind of saw it with our presidential election. I think people were willing to take a risk in his initial victory and on someone that had no political experience per se, and talked the way they wanted him to talk and had the ideas they wanted him to have. And New York City being such a progressive city, you end up in a place where potentially people are willing to take that risk again.
I was going to say, it may help if you painted a worst case scenario.
Oh, I wanted to ask that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you I like to gamble. I like to close my eyes and shoot the pool cue. But I don't if then I miss every ball and I lose the game.
Well, and die. Or taxes, or
that's right.
Go through the roof or whatever.
Yeah, and so until people are there, and then they'll look back and be like, oh man, we should have made the safer bet. So perhaps being able to paint what that future could look like in a situation. You described some of the things that a mayor of New York might have to deal with, and some of them fully sound nightmarish. I can't imagine waking up one morning and having to deal with 9/11.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know what to say there. So like maybe paint that picture of like what reality could look like, and what someone with little experience would have to be dealing with.
Yeah, Logan, I think you're exactly right. And people sort of get there naturally, but there are two quote unquote worst case scenarios. First, on those economic policies, he would raise taxes to the highest in the United States of America.
What are we looking at?
16%, just state and local before you get to the federal government, right? Now, 16%, I can move to Florida and pay zero, right? I can move to other states and pay zero. So now I'm going to pay 16 points just to wake up here.
What is the max now at this current moment?
Now the max is about 11.
Got it. So, do you think that 5% could equate to this exodus that has been?
Because it's been building, right?
Yeah.
Now, first of all, post-COVID, you have an exodus from cities anyway.
Yep.
And people are more mobile, so they are shopping cheaper places to live, right? People leave California, go to different states.
Miami. Yep.
Yeah. So that has been happening. That would accelerate. You lose more businesses, you lose more revenue. And then there's the what Logan was talking about, managing this city crisis, yes, but then just day to day. Every day is a crisis in this city, right? You're managing the largest police force in the United States, one of the highest crime rates, and every day somebody dies or could die. And if you don't know what you're doing, and crime is out of control because you don't believe, part of the socialist thinking, by the way, they de-emphasize the need for police and law and order. They want to reduce the police, defund the police, reduce the number of jails, that we are overly strict in enforcing laws.
I don't understand this particular one. This one seems crazy to
This
me.
is like an individual liberty thing. Police are used by government to oppress people.
Okay.
So reduce the police because it's a tool of government to oppress people and infringe individual liberty. But to a crazy extent. Their DSA platform says reduce police down to zero. No new jails, release people from prisons, just really crazy stuff. No misdemeanors. Misdemeanors would be eliminated. Misdemeanors would legalize prostitution. Assault is a misdemeanor. So they wouldn't enforce any misdemeanors. So the crime rate would go way up, which in and of itself is a major problem because that would then fuel the exodus. So the consequences are very big here.
So safety's at play. People's perception of the city's at play. And by the way, I want to reiterate, like me being in California, him being in PR, no ties to this race. Like we sat down with you the same way we sat down with Trump. And we extended an offer for Kamala to come on the show. She didn't. We would extend the same offer to Mamdani to come on the show to defend his positions and to have this argument in a place where we're not a pick a side type of show, just asking questions. I want to talk about crime and Rikers especially a little bit, but before that, you've talked a lot about policies. And for people in the city and people in the know, policy is in the zeitgeist and is the main portion of the discussion. But I want to hit on a little bit of a more exterior and potentially darker point. Do you think that his religion, being Muslim, comes into play at all in the idea that potentially the people of New York City are not ready for a Muslim mayor?
No, I think the Muslim community, which is quite big in New York, is actually very excited about the potential of having a Muslim mayor. As the Italian community was excited about having the first Italian mayor and the Jewish community was excited about having the first Jewish, I don't think that's a factor. I think to the extent there's a religious factor, you have more anti-Semitic incidents in New York City than any city in the United States, that is shocking to me. But that's the religious, and that was inflamed, obviously, by the Middle East. And we all pray that this peace holds. And President Trump and his administration should be commended for what they did and what they've achieved. So hopefully that brings down the temperature. But to the extent there has been religious tension, that's what it's been about.
And obviously, like it's so apparent that there has been this rise of anti-Semitism without having to give a rationale or a reason for why it exists, and it's become so prevalent online and on X and so many other places. New York City has a massive Jewish community. Do you think Mamdani will put extinguishing those current fires and the safety of the Jewish people in New York City at a forefront? As a priority?
No, he's done the opposite. The Middle East issue, the Gaza issue is very controversial. And he is very much pro-Gaza. He has been very outspoken against Israel in the situation. So, no, I think he believes it. And he's been quite outspoken about it.
So other than rent, which I guess I think everyone would agree that even if you're not from here, when you look at rent prices in New York City, they're insane. It's absolutely out of control, right? And that's pretty obvious to anybody looking in. What would you say is the next issue that's of the utmost importance in this race?
Well, rent ties into affordable housing. Why don't we have housing? Because we don't build housing. Why don't we build housing? Because government is slow and incompetent. And to me, that's the root cause of a lot of this and a lot of the frustration and a lot of the alienation. When you go back to, we're not really picking people based on qualifications. And we don't really know what an executive is supposed to do. We hire people for mayor who have no experience managing anything, which we have done in New York City many times, as other cities have. Yeah, then they don't know how to do the job. And then government doesn't accomplish anything. And then the frustration actually goes up because you're not making any progress. And that's what galls me. It's not just we should have been smarter in our decision making. Ultimately, what happens is the people aren't qualified for the position. They don't do the position. And now everyone is hurt and everyone is more frustrated with the entire process. Government is supposed to function. It's not a debating society. It has very real roles.
Hey, yo! I'm sorry. I used to do it in my vlogs. It's the entrance for my theme song. Hey, yo, I'm sorry. I got 2 shirts up on WWE. Shop Fanatics right now. I hate Logan Paul. Yes, I am the one behind it. You got to monetize the haters. And still humble because, after all, I am your humble king. And I'm going to stay humble because I'm just that humble. You can grab my shirts and all WWE merch, hats, tees, replica title belts, superstar collections on WWE Shop and Fanatics. Get yours today. Back to the show.
There was a great senator, Ted Kennedy, God rest his soul, who said to me once, on election day, they have to remember one thing you did that changed their life. And that always stuck with me. Government is supposed to improve your life. People don't even think of that anymore. But it was supposed to do something that helped you. Build a new school for my kid to go to. Raise the minimum wage. Build new roads, right? Build a new airport. Build new bridges. Create more jobs. Do something, for crying out loud. I'm paying your taxes. I have trouble. I have issues. Do something. And when I see you doing nothing and the situation deteriorating, now it just increases the frustration, increases the desire, blow it all up. Yeah, blow it all up. That's what caused the problem in the first place, because you made unintelligent choices. You picked people who were not only not competent to do the job, you should have known it because you never asked the question. You hire a person to run a 300,000 person organization, never managed anyone. Shame on you, right?
So here's a question. When the voters go to the booth in less than a month, what will they be thinking about Governor Cuomo's contribution to my life? What thing will they be thinking about? Will it be LGA? I love LaGuardia. It's an incredible airport now. It wasn't always. Will it be LGA? Like, what thing will they be bringing to the booth with them to vote Mayor Cuomo in?
Good question. I think when they walk into the booth, they'll be saying, we have real problems. Crime is a problem. Affordability is a problem. We have real problems. We need someone who can get something done. I know Cuomo. He was governor for 11 years. He knows how to do the job. He made a difference. He built LGA, New LaGuardia Airport, New Kennedy Airport, 2nd Avenue Subway, Moynihan Train Hall, roads, bridges, raised the minimum wage, first state to pass marriage equality.
Legalized MMA.
Legalized MMA. That's the first thing they're going to say.
That's crazy.
Well, we were actually the last state in the country to legalize MMA.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Bro, I didn't even know it was illegal.
It had to be licensed state by state, and we were the last state to license it, which was very important. And at that time, Mr. Fertitta was involved. They were all involved. Ronda Rousey was around back then.
Yeah.
And to be a national franchise, you really had to have every state. And you needed New York, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what is the thing? I mean, you mentioned the life-changing thing. Like, do you have something that you're looking forward to doing if you do get elected mayor that people can keep in their minds?
Maybe for the next election.
Yeah, look, first is you have to get crime under control. Make people feel safe.
Is crime out of control in New York City? I live in LA, and when I walk around here, I feel safer than I do in Los Angeles, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't want to get into Los Angeles, but that may not be saying much. But
no, that's what I think. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah. People feel, right, there's reality and statistics, and then there's feeling. People feel unsafe. People feel especially unsafe in the subways. Especially at night.
Yep.
Mentally ill people in the subways. We've had a number of incidents, mentally ill people assaulting people. They feel unsafe. The affordability issue, you have to build hundreds of thousands of units of housing very quickly. Rather than building airports and bridges like these one-shot big projects, you have to build thousands of units, 200 at a time, 100 at a time, all over the city. Increase the supply, the rent will come down.
So how are you gonna do that? Both from like a zoning, how do you find the space and how do you execute the build in that time?
That's the art form of the job, right? You know what land you have in the city. You know what land you can acquire. Part of it is financing, and then part of it is administration. Right now, it takes 4 years to get a building permit in New York City. I built LaGuardia Airport in 4 years. I mean, thank God I didn't need a permit. Or if I did, I didn't know, so I just did it. But it can't take 4 years to get a building permit, so you have to make the government actually work. And then you have to deal with the politics, because whatever you go to build anywhere nowadays, there's always opposition, right? There's always NIMBY. And you have to be able to navigate that quickly. And that's knowing how to govern, right? Nobody built more things in New York State as governor than I did in modern history, right? Every one of them was a pain in the hiney. Every one of them was opposed. LaGuardia Airport, worst airport in the United States. I say I'm going to replace it. And there was opposition, right? No, we like it. It's historic. We don't want the construction noise. So dealing with that and being willing to deal with that as part of it.
So you also have, it seems like, union labor backing again, which I would assume makes some difference as it pertains to speed of build, correct?
Yes.
Do you also have the backing of the police association? I'm not familiar with where they landed.
They're all over they were with Eric Adams.
True. So will they follow his lead? If he endorses?
They're figuring that out now. The union labor, the construction trades they are the blue collar workers, right? They are like tremendous respect to them and the trades and what they do. As a matter of fact, we have degraded as a society that skill set and that occupation and that job. You have all sorts of kids who went to college and now they're barely making it. Be an electrician. Be a carpenter, be a skilled trades. Those guys are highly talented, highly paid, highly sought after. So yeah, those are my people,
Do you have to make any kind of policy concessions in order to get those endorsements?
No, I have always supported union construction anyway. So that's a no-brainer for me.
I got some stuff over here.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Hi.
So Dylan is our show's producer, but he's also our resident New Yorker.
Yes,
you could probably
native
tell.
New Yorker,
Yeah,
born and raised Brooklyn my entire life, and Jewish. Let's go. I appreciate you giving Trump and his administration credit for the peace in the Middle East. So we appreciate that. So a couple things is, first of all, not having. If you want less cops on the streets of New York, you know nothing about New York. So a vote for the other guy is a vote for destruction.
But maybe before you go on this right now, I want you to keep in mind. No. He's fine. Let's keep it even.
No, but it is.
Okay.
But I'm telling you.
Ask questions.
I'm just telling you that less cops is a disaster. That's
it
the
sounds
worst
like it would be.
thing.
If you're after the goal of public safety, in my mind, the idea of removing the people who enforce public safety. This is not an endorsement. Once again, that seems crazy.
No, it is.
I want to offer a point of view.
Okay.
This particular issue, as I said, I just don't understand the whole defund the police. I just don't. But I see it through the lens of the police protect the citizens. That's the lens I see it through. I think this is a kind of the dress is gold and white or the dress is blue and black situation where the opposing side may see what you said, where it's like the police are a vehicle for the government to oppress. I just don't really see it like that. I think generally people are unruly. That's kind of my position. I don't know how much I trust.
You're gonna get slammed for this just because you're the white guy saying it, and clearly and it's a super topic in New York City. I followed it all the way back to Stop and Frisk. I'm from the East Coast.
Well,
I know.
I'm glad you brought Stop and Frisk up. Bring it back. We want Stop and Frisk.
Okay, but once again, you are a white guy.
Yeah, I understand the racial implications that come from that.
Sure,
but it deters people from acting.
I agree, and I think if everyone's goal is public safety, it's almost like you have to make a choice. You have to have a choice. Are you after these ultra liberties where if you want to go stab someone on the subway, it's your personal liberty to kind of do it? Or are you after public safety? On this topic, I'm sorry, once again, as a white guy, I fall under the place where we probably need cops to keep the city safe.
Well, I just want to share, and we'll let the governor chime in, is when Bloomberg was mayor, the city felt safer. You would go on the train after 10 p.m. Now, I'm not going on the train after 10 p.m. That's how it used to be back in the day. Growing up, before my time, 70s, 80s, you didn't go on the train at all, if you can. But now, for a time, there was less homeless. It felt cleaner. There was cops around. I would like to see the cops not on their phones all the time. That would be great. I don't know why they need to be on the phones. They have walkie-talkies. Yeah. That's insane. They don't need to be on their phones. I would let people just hop the turnstile at the subway. Just let them go. I got a ticket once for that. Come on, guys. Rat control. We need something on that. Governor, we got to do something about the rats.
Pick a topic.
I just want to get it all out because this will probably be my only thing here. You could digest it all. And I will say that, not just Jewish people, but New York is about ethnic people, whether it's Italians, Asians, Chinese. We are the backbone of the city. Yep. So that you want to have, as a Jewish population, you want someone as mayor that knows they got your back. So bottom line is to have somebody out there that potentially wouldn't would be not ideal. And so for that, obviously we have, you have our support, and I'll just do what I can to tell people to, vote for you.
Wait, so do you have a question?
Spoken as a true New Yorker.
Yeah, I keep it real.
No, New Yorkers they don't have questions. They have opinions that they firmly believe in and believe it beyond question.
But they push you towards a question. You could probably.
But look, what Mike said is interesting. It's the mood, right? People, you asked me before, do they feel scared? Yeah, they feel scared. And when they feel scared, they want more police to feel safe, right? That's the normal reaction. If the city were feeling safer, which it did during Bloomberg, and you posed the question, do you think we need more police, less police? I don't know. Feels pretty safe. I don't know. But right now, people are afraid. They want more police. And I want to hire 5,000 more police officers.
Great.
Which would bring us back to where we were during the Dinkins-Giuliani administration, which is what then led into the Bloomberg administration. We have the smallest police force now in modern political history because we catered to this far left defund the police. This didn't just happen. They took $1 billion out of the police budget, reduced the number of police because police were a threat to public safety. And now we have the smallest level. And by the way, one of the highest attrition rates ever, because when they shrunk the force so low, everybody has to work overtime, weekends, et cetera. You're burning people out. They're quitting at the highest rate ever. So 5,000 more police, 1,500 more on the subways, make people feel safe, because that is what's driving a lot of the anger. And one of the reasons people are leaving, New York City is very expensive. Yeah, but there's a lot of pluses. Yeah, but if I'm afraid to walk down the street, then there are not a lot of pluses.
Safety is paramount.
Yes.
It is the number one thing that anyone, I've dealt with some issues, obviously, in Los Angeles. We have the same type of issues. Safety is paramount. The idea of oppression it spills over also into what happens to criminals after they're arrested. It's another at least semi-major policy discussion with you and Mamdani. What will you do with Rikers Island? What will you do with the prison population? What is the goal there?
The plan, this gets a little weedy. The socialists believe there should be no new jails, right? They're just against what they call the carceral state. The carceral state. They basically believe no new jails, no imprisonment. Which is just bizarre to me. I believe in alternatives to incarceration whenever possible, when you get a person into a program, et cetera. I actually reduced the prison population in the state of New York. I closed more prisons than any governor in history because we brought down crime and we had alternatives to incarceration. But you can't have no jails. The discussion on Rikers Island is the Rikers Island jail is a hellhole.
Yep.
And it has been for a long time. It's run by the city. As governor, I said 10 years ago it should be closed. There's all sorts of litigation because the number of assaults, beatings are horrendous at Rikers. So Rikers, as we know, it has to be closed. The question then becomes, where do we build the new jails? Or do we build new jails, right? Because the socialists would say, we don't build new jails. And that's the conversation now. Where would we build the new jails?
Where do the prisoners go?
Well, if you don't believe in jails, then you believe in alternative programs for prisoners.
AIC.
And preventing people from being prisoners by providing more of their economic needs. The concept is a person committed the crime because they needed something, right? They didn't have the money to buy what they needed. So that's why they committed crimes. And if you actually give people what they need, they will commit less crimes. I'm not stating this in a way that does it justice because I don't believe in it at all. So I'm sure you could get a better explanation, but it's if you provide more needs for people, they won't need to commit a crime.
See, it's funny because I can skew somewhat progressive, at least in theoretical and conceptual exploration, right? Like I like to think through these and have these little curiosities, like you just answered that question there. And maybe, in my opinion, maybe one of these plans ends up working, but I wouldn't want to be in the 20 years or 30 years of experimental period where that takes hold. Does that make sense? And
100%.
Like the idea that you're going to remove the cops, remove the jails, and then somehow also bring rent down, create government grocery stores. It basically, to me, and once again, would love to have him on to talk through how this is all even potentially plausible in any real world scenario. It seems like some sort of attempt to create utopia now. And that worries me a little bit.
Yes. But that's exactly what it is. And in this political environment, you made this point before, I'm feeling miserable. I'm unhappy. What the hell?
Roll the dice.
Roll the dice. It can't be any worse. Sucks now. Can't be any worse.
You're saying it could get worse?
Oh, yeah. Could get worse. Could get much worse. Crime goes up. More people leave. Yeah, could get much worse.
So just in the past 24 hours, it got a little bit worse. President Trump, we probably knew this was going to happen, has stated he will not send money to a Mamdani administration. I wouldn't be generous to a communist, in his words. Obviously, a guy who was going to take the money and throw it out the window. Talking about hundreds of billions of dollars, Trump said we're not going to let somebody get into office, take the money, squander the taxpayer money from the country. We're just not going to let it happen. So now you've got that to deal with as well. Trump is basically saying he will shut off additional federal funding for New York City. Yes, Jeff.
Take the mic.
Get to the mic.
New York is the financial capital of the United States of America, right? That's why this is so important. Is it's not just you guys aren't here and he's in Puerto Rico and you're in LA. It's the world looks to New York. The country looks to New York. It's so valuable. And to go socialist, right? And look at our democracy, look at our Constitution is like a crazy step towards what different way of life completely. Like, how does that crumble? Does it start here and start to crumble?
Well, it also sometimes, at least as far as and I want to talk about a little bit about like scare tactics and propaganda and so on and so forth from different parties, but you're seeing a little bit of at least what is being called the decay of Europe with a lot of these type of policy decisions. And you're seeing very, very unsafe conditions in places like London. You're seeing a lot of stuff happening when the dice are rolled and things that have been the way they were for a long time start to change rapidly in an effort to make things better right now. So do you think that we could be following in the footsteps of countries who are starting to see that decay?
100%. And it's always the same model. It's I'm upset, I'm alienated, blow it up, can't be worse. And then it turns out worse, right? That's London. That's Chicago that elected a socialist mayor. That would be New York City. Yeah, it can be worse. And that's why people are nervous. New York City, it would be one of the greatest irony because we are the financial capital of the world. And New York is going to be socialist. Now, Trump goes right past socialist to communist, right? So he just cuts to the chase.
So
right?
I said in his words.
Yeah.
Good. It's a quote.
Now, I'll tell you what will happen. If Mamdani is elected mayor, Trump will take over New York. 100%. Trump
Tanks
will take
down
over New York.
Fifth Avenue.
Guard.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Trump takes over New York, and he says it. He says it. And he'll look right in that camera, and he'll say, this is a 33-year-old, never ran a grocery store, candy store, never ran anything, never had a real job, wants to release all the prisoners, wants to legalize prostitution, doesn't believe people commit crimes. I can't allow him to destroy New York City.
Especially for Trump. New York is obviously such a... Yeah.
Yes, and he will say that. And you'll have President Trump and Mayor Trump at the same time. which would probably be his dream, right? Two favorite jobs for President Trump: president and mayor of New York City.
Have you had a good relationship with President Trump?
No.
So is this a situation where it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend?
I
Lesser of
think
two evils.
I think it would be more lesser of two evils.
Okay.
You know, well, I mean, I was governor when President Trump was president. We worked well together on some things, and we had battle royales on other things. But I think he would say, compared to a communist, I'll go with Cuomo because he knows I'm basically competent and I'm not a communist, right? So it is the lesser of two evils. And yes, we had battles, but that's also the president's way, right? And you know, it's part of the reason it's our strength is our weakness. He comes right at you, right? He puts his finger right in your chest, President Trump. He's aggressive, has power, knows how to use power, and the only way to deal with him is either roll over or put your finger back in his chest. And now you're going to have a battle. And that's why we had the fights we had. Because he really gives you no alternative, right?
It would be interesting as a 33-year-old like Mamdani, like I'm 30, like he's not that much older than me, to run New York City. That's crazy, man. He must be way more competent than I am. I wouldn't be ready for that. And I feel like a pretty like capable person.
No, you are more competent. You run a business. You've had more success.
I could, like,
you might have
like,
more.
maybe,
he might have managed more.
He
people.
has.
Yeah.
He has. He's
What is
accomplished
Mamdani?
more.
But I couldn't imagine, having to like stick my finger in Trump's chest at age 30, like telling him like how this is going to work.
Oh, he would never. Trump would go right through him like a hot knife through butter.
Wait, hey, this is a legitimate question. What is the difference? Like, why couldn't I run for mayor besides the fact that I don't live here? Like, the guy's not that much older than me. Like, I feel like if he could do it, I could do it.
If you actually stood on his grounds, then you could. He's using the people as puppets to gain what he...
Using the people as puppets.
What is his actual, outside of us saying like, no background, his background is mostly in zoning and
what is his
He's like a rapper.
No, easy.
Man, you guys are haters, bro.
No.
First of all,
I don't want this podcast
questions.
to be that. I just want.
He comes from wealth. His mother is a very successful film director. Grew up in Uganda, palace basically in Uganda. Grew up on the West Side here. Moved to Manhattan. Grew up in the West Side penthouse. Went to private school, $60,000 a year. And Bowdoin College. He's the child of wealth, never had to work, never did work, never had a real job, and plays politics and ran for the state assembly and won and passed three bills, worst attendance record in the New York State Assembly, and then decided to run for mayor.
I have a question. So, because no. But this is a good segue. It's everything we've talked about this podcast, like watching New York City and even listening to you now. It's like, there's a big why. Like why someone would want this position. He's not here, so I can't like assume. I don't think any of us can what his why is for wanting to run New York City. But we have you here, and I think this is could potentially put some heart behind this election. Like it is a really tough position. Why would you want to be the mayor of New York City?
I am afraid that we could lose New York City as we know it. I think we're at a pivot point in New York City. I think a lot of cities across the country, by the way, are in a pivot point. You start to lose people. You start to lose wealth. Because of taxes, because of crime, et cetera. You start to lose your tax base. You're on now a downward spiral. And I'm feeling that in New York. And I am a New York City boy all my life. I worked in the Clinton administration. I was the housing secretary for 8 years. So I worked all across the country, did a lot of work in LA and cities all across the country. But I'm a New Yorker. I'm afraid for the city. I know what we need to do to fix it. Listen to people from Brooklyn who say, hire more cops, build more affordable housing, clean up the streets. And I know I can get that done. I've been in and out of government all my life. I know how to get that done. And I've proven to New Yorkers that I know how to get things done. And we are at a point where we have to make progress. And people have to see progress to believe in the city again. And I think it's about saving the city. I think it's that stark.
I wanted to ask you this way earlier, but it builds off of that question pretty well. What is it to you that makes New York City the best city on the planet?
The energy in New York City, people will talk about. That's part of it. But for me, it's the tolerance and acceptance that you can bring people from all over the world to one small, dense piece of geography and somehow figure it out how you can live together. 190 languages spoken in our school system. Think about it. 190 languages. And all compressed, right, in this tight, dense area. And you can find commonality. We live in a world now where all we see are differences. And we get polarized by the differences. New Yorkers, you're forced to find the similarity and the commonality and tolerate and accept. And that is a beautiful thing. Now we have hiccups, anti-Semitism rises, post-COVID, Trump called it the China virus. There was a lot of anti-Asian activity. There's some racial tensions. But by and large, we make it work. And it's a beautiful statement of humanity, right? That's one of the things I love most about it.
You couldn't have said it any better. I love this city. I'm coming back. You know, I plan to move back here. I'm obsessed with going out at night, meeting people, and a lot of the commonality that I think people find here, oddly enough, but pretty much everybody knows this, is through food. I met some Georgian people last night, and they told me that Georgian food is really good. I didn't even know what that meant, really. Thumbs up over there. I completely agree with you. And what's your favorite pizza in the city, by the way?
I'm a Queens boy. You know, there's nobody's really from New York City. Some people actually grew up in Manhattan, but very few, because you had to be very rich to live in Manhattan. So you're a Brooklyn boy or a Queens boy or a Bronx boy. That's really how you identify, or a Staten Island boy. And then you're local, you're loyal to that locality, right? So there's like a rivalry, Brooklyn, Queens, because Queens is better than Brooklyn. So the Brooklyn guys never really could get past that, right? So the best pizza is in Queens, and it's Gabby's Pizza on Hillside Avenue in Queens. Brooklyn tries.
Right, well, DeFara and Avenue J in Brooklyn is the
best. What is your order in a deli or a bagel shop?
Don't J-Lo this now, Governor.
Yeah. If I'm being reckless, cream cheese and lox.
Reckless?
That cream cheese is like 9 million calories. When they give you that New York City schmear,
it's crazy.
You staying hydrated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where are you going with that, pal? You want to try a drink?
No. I'm just saying, like, it's important. Hydration is important.
I'm going to bring some bottles with me.
I think I love that. Yeah, I mean, low calorie, low sugar. It's an alternative to the archaic hydration industry, the corporate giants that have been running it for forever, the Gatorades, the Powerades of the world. And it's just something to think about, you know.
No.
I want New York to be hydrated.
Yeah. And congratulations, God bless. It's a good product.
Thank you.
You've done very well with it.
Thank you. What do you think you're most proud of? Your biggest, what do you think your biggest win is from your time in office?
We were the first big state to pass something called marriage equality that allowed same-sex people to marry. That changed the whole discussion in the country. And that actually created a civil right for people. You know, now everybody takes it for granted that gay people can get married. No, that was like verboten. And when New York passed that, it really shifted the entire dialogue in the country. And then the president supported, and the vice president supported, and other states supported. So that on one level was most rewarding. Second is the physical improvements that I made. You know, if you drive around this city, there are new bridges, there are new roads, there are new airports. And people see that, feel it makes their life better. I'm proud of that.
It's so funny having this conversation with you, and you're talking about the push for gay rights, and where normally that would put the person on the left of the discussion. Here in a left-leaning city, you're actually on the moderate side. It's just an odd situation to be sitting in when we usually look at left versus right politics, and you're like center left.
Yeah. Well, because the world shifted on its axis, right? Remember what happened here. I was a crazy liberal for many years. My father, governor before me, crazy liberal. When I went to do marriage equality, crazy liberal.
Yeah.
Catholic Church is against it also. I mean, it was just really terrible war. And it was a crazy liberal idea. Highest minimum wage in the United States, crazy liberal idea. Paid family leave, crazy liberal idea. Now they call me a moderate. I didn't change.
The world
planet
changed.
shifted.
Yeah.
The planet shifted. Now they're socialists. Yeah, well, that's a different game. You know, that's not the Democratic Party. That's the Socialist Party. And that's not who I am.
I guess for the last time, Zohran,
One more question about the casinos and stuff. I'm really glad that the Times Square casino didn't get approved.
I love this guy.
But like, what's the vibe on casinos?
Nas.
Yeah, Nas got approved in Queens, but just like that element, I understand their value and like income, but where do you sit on casinos and gambling? And of course, New York was very last in approving digital gambling for sports apps and stuff. So sorry. And
No, that's
we'll
good.
close out,
That's a great question.
I approve, as governor, I approved gambling for upstate New York, because we have Atlantic City about 90 miles away or so, and there was gambling in Atlantic City, New Jersey, so New York City people would drive down to Atlantic City, and Atlantic City did very well. I said upstate New York, which was struggling economically. These could be resort casinos. You go for the weekend, and it gets us economic activity in upstate New York. After I left, they approved applications in New York City, and you'll have 3 in New York City. Theoretically, they will generate revenue, the big revenue generators. With 3 of them, I don't know how much, if the revenue is actually what they expect. There's also a downside that comes with casinos. You know, a lot of people ruin their lives. There's a lot of addiction. There's a lot of related activities. So it's a mixed bag, but the city needed the money. It's a tourist attraction, but it's going to have to be very carefully regulated and monitored because it can go bad quickly.
Man, I love playing blackjack, but it is
I'm a roulette guy.
Yeah.
I like the way the ball bounces. Like I don't know why, bro. You get ting, 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 ting.
As
Red.
I was saying, last note on it, Zohran Mamdani, Zohran Mamdani. I'll never say his fucking name right, dude.
Donnie.
It's funny because he actually
Zohran
gave me a full tutorial in the car
Mamdani.
on the way here. He said, "Pretend your mom's name is Donnie."
Donnie.
He had a
Your
whole
mom
thing.
is Donnie. I forgot
That's a
about
line.
it.
Your mom's name is Donnie.
Yes.
You are. We would have you on the show. We'd love to have you on the show to counter produce an argument.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy because people will. It's so funny. People like we did this when Trump was on. We were like, yeah, Kamala, we'd love to have you on the podcast. You know, we had Trump on. We asked questions, invited the opposing side, and everyone's like, you fucking Trump supporters. Like till this day, I'll have people like not invite me to places or like.
This one feels a little different. We have no real like strict tie to New York City.
Yeah, but I feel people get mad about it. Like that's the third time you've invited this guy on, and people.
Well, politics, there is an intensity about this and a hostility that I've never seen before. Just politics writ large, just so polarized and nasty,
super polarized,
just nasty.
Yep,
there's no discussion. You're bad. You disagree with me, you're bad. It's like good versus bad. The Trump election, during COVID, there were doctors who treated Trump who got criticized for treating Trump during COVID. I mean,
that's
crazy.
That's crazy.
No, it's insane.
So, with Trump, it was really out of control. But even in a local mayor's race, it's angry and it's nasty and it's bitter and it's personal and it's good and bad and
Dude,
right.
People
and wrong.
have really visceral reactions. We were, I mean, all of yesterday, like we were with, I don't know, we were just hanging out and we mentioned to, different groups of people that we were at a podcast with you today. And everyone, it was like, dude, he's got to win. they were really like fired up that we had you here. So it's definitely been cool to like have the opportunity to give you a platform, maybe to an audience who I don't know how much attention they're paying to this. I don't know. We do have a big New York demographic, so that's
well,
pretty
I would
cool.
assume also some of these clips get pick up for mainstream. It's such a it's such a contentious and like heavily. It's a spectacle of sorts. So
do you offer Silva a role in your like cabinet if he drops out? How does that work?
He's very good.
No, that's why we had him.
He is really
Thank you
very
so much.
good.
Yeah.
Because the cat thing with the rats, I actually think is a good idea.
What is this? What is this?
He to curb the rat problem, which is worse than it's ever been before.
More
New York
cat-
is obviously bad.
more cats.
He wants to have like a patrol of cats, which is what the delis already do.
Wow.
It's actually a great idea. As long as the
Fire
cats
the
don't
cops
become like
on.
rabid themselves and all over.
Yeah.
But at night, if you like send the cats out to patrol the streets.
Wait, I'm just so confused. I'm sorry. So people don't like rats now?
What do
you mean?
What do you mean ever?
Well, I got in
think
trouble
they-
for a rat thing, and everyone's
Yeah.
like, we love rats. You
Well,
should have
no,
done
That
that.
rat
Not
was already
here.
dead. So
It's bad. It's bad. Bro.
No,
It's bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's for sure. It's bad.
More rats than people?
the rats
But they're
are
not
scared.
even
Aren't they
scared
big?
anymore.
Aren't they
Yeah,
big?
Yeah,
dude,
they're
and they're not
disgusting,
scared.
dude.
They just come out in the middle of the street.
They're not scared. They have that New York attitude.
Yeah.
They like that. They're like, bring it.
Damn.
You
Some
know?
more cats.
Yes.
I think the cat idea is good.
yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
it's
the
so
rats-
funny though.
The rats are a problem. The rats are a problem.
I think that's actually a good
I
idea.
think so too. Actually, it would curb them. But seriously, I don't know if this is like too specific. But do you? Because we want him to drop out and support you. Is that? Do you?
Once again,
I'm not shy.
But say you. We don't have a
Okay,
cat
not the
in the
show.
race.
Not the show. New Yorkers would
What do
say.
you-
Hey.
what do you
Well, by the
mean?
way, I used to see him on the
Just say
train all the time
I.
because I think he's from my neighborhood. But no, we're not hating on him. But some of us want Governor Cuomo to be the mayor. So do you reach out and say, hey?
Let him vote for me.
No,
Yeah.
your problem.
What
No,
is your
he can say
problem
whatever
with
he
this
wants.
election? All
No,
right,
he can
that's
say
what
whatever he
it is.
wants. We don't
We're
get
trying
to
to be
vote.
impartial.
Yeah, we
Right,
don't get
right,
to
right.
vote in this
All right, so
election.
you-
We just want to exhibit your qualities,
All
which
right,
there
but
are
don't
many.
infringe on
Never.
his First
Far
Amendment
never,
right.
sir.
He
I
has
would
a
never.
First Amendment right.
Just has to
Yeah.
use I.
But this is actually when someone can say it's all politics. It is politics in the actual way. So do you reach out and say, hey, here's an offer to how does that work?
He says that he's in the race to stay, and let's see what happens. It has to play out.
How do you reflect upon your time in office during COVID and how you handled COVID?
COVID was the most horrific situation I could possibly have lived through. New York had it first and worst. And it just exploded, and nobody knew anything. And people panicked. And it was the most difficult situation to deal with. I did briefings every morning where I would tell New Yorkers what I knew, but it was horrific. Doctors didn't know what to do. Hospitals didn't know what to do. We didn't have basic equipment ready, respirators, PPE. Every week, the medical professionals would come up with a new opinion on what to do. It was really a horrific situation.
But at least you won an Emmy.
Yeah, but it was horrific. 80,000 people die here, 1.2 million in the country. And it was the nursing homes because COVID preyed on the immune compromised, the elderly. So it went through nursing homes. And it got into the nursing homes by the staff.
Yeah.
Because the staff would go home at night, go home for the weekend. They catch it. Staff brings it in. And it was just a constant cycle. You know, how do you stop it? The staff have to go home and the staff see their family, you know. So it was horrific.
As you look back, and obviously, like, I don't even know how much more time we have. The response to COVID, 5 minutes. The response to COVID and COVID in general has been such a catalyst to an increase in distrust in the government, the scientific community, historical events, everything, and has really kind of, in my eyes, blown up the conspiracy movement into what it is today. How much of that do you attribute to just the idea that we just were so dramatically underprepared and so taken aback by the scope of the problem that we made mistakes? I shouldn't say we, that the people in power made mistakes that weren't intentional, that weren't driven to fund, you know, or to bring higher revenue to Pfizer or to control the population, like a lot of people would say, but was just a result of just not being ready for something of that scope.
I think that's what it was, but you're right. It didn't start that way. We had it first and worst. So I was doing these briefings that people watched all across the country, all around the world, just to find out what was going on. And Democrats and Republicans followed them, believed them, and were very grateful. There's no partisanship. It was really amazing because I kept it to the facts. This is what I know. This is what they said. Here's the numbers. They said, and it was not politicized at all. Later on, the exact opposite happened. It started to become politicized. And then it went on for a long time, and it started to have real negative ramifications on the economy, on schools, et cetera. And then the vaccine, government says you must take a vaccine. That now is triggering for people, and conspiracy theories arise. So by the end of it, it was a terribly destructive situation for this country, not just in the number of deaths, et cetera, but it has divided us in a way. I think that's where the division really started. The red, blue, close the state, open the state, business open, business closed, schools open, schools closed. That started that crazy red, blue polarization, distrust of the experts. You know, you like to trust a federal health expert. Now I don't believe them. I don't trust my government, the polarization. That was the net consequence of all of it. And God forbid we go through it again, we're going to be in worse shape because nobody's going to believe anything anybody says.
I've thought about that. It really is worst case scenario when a more destructive like contagion comes along and people are like, oh no, I'm not being tricked into believing that this is deadly again. It's actually a really fucking scary, sorry for my French.
Yes.
Very scary thing.
And it will happen. There will be another contagion because if you look back, this did not come out of the blue. There was Ebola, right? There's a whole string of viruses, and they keep getting more and more virulent. There will be another COVID, and it will be worse. and society will be more distrustful of what their government says, which is going to increase the spread of the virus.
That's
That will happen, and that's scary.
grow your own.
Say something positive right now. let's end on a positive note.
How about AI? How about AI Jake Paul? I mean, like any
No one's seen that except for the people that are the big news for the unemployed crowd.
How do you get along
means?
with your brother? How does that feel?
I want to ask you about your brother. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, you answer about your brother first.
We get along great now. It hasn't always been like that, but there was a point where actually Jake was the mature one, and he basically said to me, like, look, bro, we were feuding back in the YouTube vlog days. We're both doing the same thing, both had big egos and a bunch of yes men around us. And he came to me and he was like, dude, like no one can destroy either one of us more than each other. Like, what the fuck are we doing? And through like kind of like a tumultuous relationship at times, it's brought us that much closer. And so now we have the greatest bond in the world. He's like my best friend.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Good luck to him in the upcoming fight.
Thank you. You and your brother?
He's my best friend and a tremendous comfort, situation you're in, situation I'm in. It's so hard to find someone who you trust 100% in your best interest and who has the guts to tell you the truth when you may not want to hear it,
Yeah.
A lot of people, once you get powerful, people don't want to tick you off.
Yeah.
So they tend to shy away from telling you that what they really believe.
For sure.
And a brother just doesn't give a damn, right?
No,
because he's going to be your brother the next day. And
also, I have to imagine, like, at least I feel like this with my brother. Like, I do have to look around and acknowledge that my life has become pretty fucking unrelatable. Like, it's odd. The problems are grand and sometimes weird and oftentimes complex. And the future always isn't so obvious which path to choose or decision to make. But having a brother who has lived a parallel life and has experienced a lot of the same things I have and has experienced the same exact background that I have, growing up in Ohio, it is always nice to know that at any point I can look to my right or left and see Jake and know that there is at least one person on this earth who can relate to me.
Yeah.
And like, you guys have had a crazy life, but at least there's two of you. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a crazy life. Ups and downs. Tremendous highs, tremendous lows.
Yeah.
He had the highest rated show on CNN. Well, really, I had the highest rated show on CNN, if you want to get technical, because his highest rating was when I was the guest on his show. So therefore,
you guys aren't that different after all.
That's really mine.
You two ain't that different after all, man.
This is amazing.
Yeah. So
yeah, like Jake had the most viewed fight ever against Mike Tyson, but technically I fought the legend first.
That's
when
exactly
fighting
right.
Floyd. Like
So-
I set the stage. And,
Diss track era.
Yeah, diss
all
track
kinda-
era. More views like that. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
It
So
doesn't change. That's what I'm
well,
gathering.
the competition's got to be there. You need that edge. But with highs and lows. But you're right. He's always there for me. And plus, I can kick his ass on any given day, which just gives me a sense of confidence.
Oh,
that I
now
enjoy
you're
it.
exactly
Yeah.
just identical.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. The younger, but well, I find Jake incredibly inspiring. I think he has a mentality that's a bit different than mine in that, and he expressed this to me recently. So like, I'm pretty enamored at like where I am in my life. I didn't see this coming. I knew I was going to be successful because I really willed it into existence. Like, it was the only way for me. I didn't know what it looked like, and now that I have achieved the things I've achieved, I'm very grateful and blessed to have done those things. It's still like kind of mind blowing to me. Jake expressed to me recently that he's had a bit of the opposite mentality. He's like, no, I knew the whole time. Like, what do you like? Don't discount my ability to like manifest my life. Like, I knew exactly where I was going to be. And I'm like, damn, bro, like. Good on you. I'm still shocked at the life that has become ours.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit different of a mentality in that regard.
Yeah, you can see both, but I'm more with you, you know, because you can. It's your determination, your will, your talent, but there's so many other things that could have happened.
A lot of variables.
So many variables. So many different ways it could have gone in a totally different direction. Right.
Yeah, and still possible. You know, life. I think life can be pretty fragile, and man, every second is a blessing. And it sometimes you get humbled by life and reset, or you see something that reminds you just like how fragile life is and how every moment is a blessing. I mean, the Charlie Kirk thing, like, definitely had that effect on me. Like, a guy my age going out there, expressing his opinion and opening the stage for dialogue, and then just, you know, dies so tragically. And tragically because there's just so much unlived potential for someone who, like, I said this before, like, I felt like Charlie would have been and easily could have been like a president of the United States. And so, like, the event is it puts humanity, like, once again really into perspective for me, and in a way makes me feel like the course of American history had been altered potentially a little bit.
Well, it is such a frightening comment on where we've gotten to as a society. I mean, the assassination attempts on President Trump, I mean, and then Charlie Kirk. I mean, what the hell? Yeah. What the hell is going on? That's what it says. You know, just there's some toxic environment that we are in that is really frightening. Any given time, any given moment. Any given time, any given moment. You watch what's going on in the Middle East, and remember in New York, you lived through 9/11. That changed your life, because that said any given moment, your world can get turned upside down. And I think of that every day.
Were you here in the city?
I was here. I was just a few blocks away. I went all through that. And it was you know, they talk about trauma, PTSD. For sure, it totally changed my perspective. And when you talk about why run for mayor, why run for governor, why public service, this world is a messed up place right now, and it is a scary place. And I think it's very important to have people who basically know what they're doing in charge. And that's why I'm running for mayor.
Love that, especially in this city, man.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it.
This is
the greatest city in the world.
This is it.
All right. Andrew Cuomo, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, thank you for watching this podcast. We love you. Hit that subscribe button for us. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Peace.